Hello, everyone. I'm very glad today to meet you at our Jmix 3.0 release webinar. I'm not alone today. As usual, I'm with the Jmix team. My name is Viktor. I'm responsible for the product itself. And today I'm here with Konstantin Krivopustov, who is the head of engineering, and Gleb Gorelov, the technical lead of the Jmix platform. And we prepared a lot of great things today to demonstrate about the Jmix 3.0 release. And before we start, and until you may find time to connect, I want to ask several questions to the team to warm up the atmosphere a little. So first of all, if you like Jmix and if you like listening to Jmix webinars, especially about new features in Jmix releases, please put pluses or hearts or flames in the chat in the YouTube. And this will also inspire us a little bit during our today's session, because you may know that the Jmix 3.0 release is very complex. So a lot of great features need to be demonstrated and to make everything in the right mood. So please give us your inspiration. Please give us your emotions. And let's start with small questions about Jmix 3.0 release and our daily operations in the Jmix team. And my first question is for Konstantin. Most probably we should start with talking about vibe coding and AI. Every webinar about IT technologies and software development, especially today, need to be started from talking about AI implementation tools. And if you watch a lot of videos on YouTube, you may already detected that in modern days you just need to write what you want in the evening, just launch your AI agent and come back to your workplace in the morning, and everything's done. And my question to Konstantin about things happening in the Jmix team inside, whether do we use the same style to develop Jmix actually? We make it by our own, or everything is done by AI agents already inside Jmix?
Well, I think it won't be a surprise if I say that most of the code is now written by AI agents. But it's certainly not wipe coding. We still design the features. We steer the agent. We thoroughly review what was written, and sometimes delete and refactor and ask the agent to rework. So I don't think that it can do it without us at the moment, at least. And actually, I like the
fortunately.
Yeah, fortunately, actually, I like the result. We move much faster than before, and the quality of the implementation, I think, increases. So more tests, more documentation, and better solutions. That's my view on this. Yeah.
Thank you, Konstantin. So be assured that we are using AI agents already, but we put an eye on it, and we test everything that it produces actually. And you can be assured that the quality of code of the platform itself stays the same as it was before. And maybe you've heard that Jmix is 10 years this year, in 2026 already. So we are producing great software for 10 years. Yeah. And my next question for Gleb is just about your favorite feature. So what do you think the most favorable feature by your opinion in Jmix 3.0?
Well, by scenario, I have to say that it's Aura theme, but to be honest, probably the most favorite feature in Jmix 3.0, and perhaps the most underestimated, is a Markdown editor. Because the idea of its implementation was born spontaneously, because now in the AI era, the Markdown language has become very popular. And as a result, we realized that such a component would be not a niche, like between text area and rich text area, but could be very widely used across applications.
People say you shouldn't know any programming language, but you need to know Markdown actually. Yeah, so everything which that can be presented as a specification can be transformed into a solution. Thank you, Gleb, for this great highlight, and I think that we acquired all the attendees for our today's webinar. Thank you very much for allocating time to visit our webinar in face. And today we have several questions and answers sections. One question and answer section will be just after the first section of the webinar, but at the end we will have the final section. And if you forget something, you will be able to ask your question at the end. And let's start with the demonstration. And I will start with a small presentation highlighting what we are going to speak today. And I ask please to share my screen. Yeah. Most probably, you already see my presentation. I have several slides highlighting what we will speak about today. And for sure, all the topics covered by our team today is about Jmix 3.0 release. So we prepared it for a long time. We packed it with great features. And first of all, this is a great re-platforming on a new version of the core technologies. So first of all, I mean Spring Boot. We switched from 3.5 to the fourth version. It's valid in 25. It was a hard work, and it was so hard that we underestimated this work, and we found out that it was not realistic to release this new Vaadin 25 release as a part of the framework in March, when we wanted to release this new update. So we needed more than half a year to deliver these great features to you, and Gleb will speak about it today. Eclipse link, the new version inside is packed already, and the final great update that we waited from the Flowable team, it's the Flowable 8, which powers the Jmix BPM version. So this package, and now it is running on the most modern BPM engine with all the features you may love. And for sure, we supported the latest IntelliJ IDEA with our Jmix Studio and packed it with great new features that we will also unveil during our today's webinar. Today we have the following agenda. We have 3 sections. The first section is about UI, framework, and marketplace ecosystem of Jmix. This section will be covered by Gleb Gorelov. The next section will be about Studio, AI, and dynamic model. This is the most significant feature that we demonstrate in Jmix 3.0 in experimental mode, but we rely on this feature a lot because it moves Jmix to another let's say era. This is a giant leap in development of Jmix towards what we call low code for power users. And then we will go to the section 3 and we'll highlight what do we mean by AI-assisted development, which we demonstrate and talk about during our webinars. And this is a part of our product strategy right now, and talk a little about plans. Then we'll finalize with Q&A section, and at the end we'll have a giveaway, and we will find out 3 winners who will get Claude Pro subscriptions for 3 months for free from the Jmix team to work more productive together with Jmix. And before we start, I want you to answer the first survey. We will have just 3 surveys today during our webinar. Things which we are interested at about how you work with Jmix actually. And our first question is how important is running LLM within your own infrastructure? And I hope that my colleagues will launch this survey in the YouTube chat, and please click your choice. This will help us a lot to understand whether we are moving in the right direction together with Jmix. Thank you very much for your answers. This is very important for the product development. And we are moving slowly to the first section, and I deliver the word to Gleb. Gleb, this is your turn. Please run the demonstration of the UI framework and ecosystem improvements.
Start with the UI part, and the most visible change that comes with Vaadin 25 is, of course, the brand new theme called Aura. Let me close the Luma version. So Aura inspired by current visual design trends in the web application space. Aura also brings a simpler styling model. So instead of digging into component internals, you customize most of the look through a small set of high-level CSS custom properties. Colors, contrast, and surface hierarchy all derive from a handful of base values. For enterprise projects, that matters in 2 ways. You get a modern look with zero design effort, and if your brand needs a custom look, theme customization is far more approachable than before. So the dozen of narrow component level variables are still there for fine-grained control, but day-to-day, you can shape the whole look through a handful of base variables they derive from, instead of touching each one by hand. And Aura is not replacing Luma. Both are available, and you choose which one to use right when you create a project in Studio. Next, something we're particularly excited about. We partnered with Vaadin to bring selected Vaadin Pro components to the Jmix community through a dedicated offering. currently called Widen for Jmix community. It's available directly inside Jmix Studio and requires an active Jmix Enterprise or BPM subscription. So the idea is that most projects don't need a full Widen Pro suite, just one or two components for one or two screens. So instead of all or nothing purchase, you subscribe to the Jmix flavored offering and get exactly those. So the first two components included are Widen dashboard and Widen spreadsheet. So let's start with the dashboard. Dashboard is a component for building both static dashboard layouts and dynamic user configurable ones. A widget can hold literally any component, a chart, a KPI card, a progress bar, a ranked list. You just give it some content and a title. And the grid is responsive by configuration, not by accident. So you set a minimum column width, a maximum column count once for the whole dashboard, then size individual widgets by how many rows and columns they should span. So like on my screen right now. And dynamic dashboards offer end users the possibility to edit layout. So for example, I can change the size of my widgets. I can rearrange them, whatever I want. I can even save that settings in the database and provide user configured dashboards, whatever. Next one, spreadsheet. Spreadsheet brings genuine Excel-like functionality into Jmix view. It's built directly on the Apache POE, so what you get is the real workbook model, not a grid presenting to be a spreadsheet. You can read and write cells from server-side code, apply real formatting and fonts, and set genuine Excel formulas that get evaluated on the server, with the result pushed straight back to the client. Multiple sheets, frozen panes, grid lines, the formula bar, the sheet tab bar, all this and all independently toggleable. And it reads real XLSX files and with some limitations, old XLS. And because POE is the actual engine underneath, copy-paste round trips cleanly with real Excel or Google Sheets. So for big files, cell data loads on demand from the server instead of pulling the whole sheet into the browser at once. And this component can be useful for financial calculation, planning, and tabular editing where users already think in spreadsheet terms. So these components are fully integrated into Jmix UI model, available in the UI palette, the XML view descriptors, with Studio Code completion, and visual editors, whatever. And one feature built on top of this is spreadsheet rendering in reports. So if I go to reports, the reports add-on can render a generated report straight into a spreadsheet inside the application instead of only offering a file to download. So for example, let me select list of pets report, click run menu and run and open in spreadsheet. So instead of downloading a file, I can see the result in the spreadsheet because, well, Excel in the spreadsheet, like perfect match. Okay, now let's move to the other features that Jmix 3.0 adds. And the first one is my favorite, as I already said. It's a Markdown editor component. So it lets users write and preview Markdown in a single field with a formatting toolbar, edit, preview mode switching, standard keyboard shortcuts, and all the usual Jmix field behavior like databasing and validation work exactly like on any other field. And additionally, it supports theme variants to control toolbar position. For example, here I have toolbar buttons aligned to the end side. Also, we have a few more usability improvements. Let's speak of them briefly. The first one is per grid sorting customization. So new extension points let you customize how a grid sorts already loaded data via column comparators and sort builder delegates. plus an application-wide option via Spring Beans. So rules stay independent, so an app and its add-on can each contribute sorting logic without overriding the framework's defaults or conflicting with each other. And if I go to the code, to my pet list view, here, the example of applying sort builder delegate, which in my case customizes how the owner column is sorted. So I can use this alias to refer to the loaded entity, and in this case, I sort owners by last name only. So because by default would use name as because it comes first, but in my case it's last name. We can see that Brock comes before Ash because its last name comes before Ash's last name. Okay. Another thing that we added is a change password at first login. Let me go to the users. So you can now require a user to set a new password the next time they sign in, either right then creating the first login, or later when using a temporary password through the standard reset password action. So for example, let's take Joy, additional reset password. You can see checkbox, require password at next logon, generate password. Let's copy it, close, log out. Joy, use temporal password, login. And now I have to set a new password. For example, let's say Joy and Joy. Password is actually changed. Let me go back as admin. And important note here that for this functionality to be applied, the user entity must has a Boolean field with the password change required annotation. And your minimal role must either extend UI minimal policies or explicitly grant access to the change password view. Okay, next, let's talk about other small improvements in the Jmix. The next one is, data grid and tree data grid gained built-in detail link renderer and detail button renderers. So open and edit column no longer needs a custom renderer. So in my case, I apply detail link renderer to the name with target blank and detail button renderer with open mode dialog to the identification number. So let's go back to the view and see that, name is entered as a link. If I click on it, I have detail view opened in the new browser tab. And if I click on notification number, I have detail view opened as a dialog. So without the need to select an entity and click edit action. Okay, next one is a message templates, a small improvement. Now, message templates got a preview action that validates a template against real parameters values. So for example, if I click preview, I need to choose some parameters, select, and invoke. So I can see how my rendered template will look like with real parameters. It's very handful for debugging purposes, for example. Okay, and let's move on. The next, actually big feature is a AI tools add-on that brings LLM-powered assistant to your Jmix application. Out of the box, it provides a ready-to-use chat UI where users ask questions in natural language and the assistant answers them by calling tools. The add-on includes a predefined tool tailored to Jmix applications and lets you add your own. The add-on is built on top of Spring AI. It doesn't bundle any specific model provider. Instead, you choose and configure a Spring AI model such as OpenAI, Anthropic, Azure OpenAI, or Llama, and the add-on uses it through the standard Spring AI chat client. Let's make some tests. For example, how many pets does Ash Ketchum have? And while thinking, you can see that it provides thinking indicator, provides like reasoning steps. Okay, Ash has 5 pets. Okay, let's ask him to list all pets that Ash has in a table, for example. Good. And the last one, for example, show detailed about Bulbasaur, one of my favorites. Like this. So if the built-in scenarios aren't enough, the tool colon framework is extensible. So you can register your own tool methods and the assistant can call your business logic directly. So that's the real point of this add-on. It's not a finished chatbot. It's a foundation you to build your own AI-enabled features on top of it. And in addition to just chatting with it, as you can see, it has like recent chat, or we can see all available chats grouped by date and so on. Delete them, manage them, open them, and so on. And important thing to note is that this add-on is available free for all Jmix developers. Okay, and well, this AI tools add-on you just saw is built on top of Vadin's, like this, Vadin's own message components. And building it is exactly what surfed the gap. Those components are designed for human-to-human chat, not for AI conversations. That lack of AI native features is what pushed us to start developing our own. So we're working now on AI chat, a set of components that are AI native from the ground up, designed around what an AI conversation actually needs rather than adapted from a messaging app. The goal is to build it, the goal for it is to look and behave like the AI chats people already use daily, like ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, whatever. So let's take a look on the key features, what already we have on and what we're planning. So a composer built for AI conversation. It supports prefix and suffix components to add a custom layout. For example, for model selection like this, yeah, I prefer latte model. Or add additional actions or, I don't know, dictation, whatever. And when we start conversation, we can, the send button is converted to the stop button. So we can interrupt our conversation with the assistant. As you can notice, no avatars or usernames. Assistant replies render as full width markdown, and user messages are aligned as bubbles. But again, it's all customizable via styling, so whatever you need. The next is actions. Configurable actions for assistant replies and user messages. Yeah, they're independent. So for example, for demo purposes, for user messages, I have only copy and edit. And for assistant, like copy, regenerate, like, dislike. The next one is a code blocks that scroll on their own. So instead of dragging the whole conversation sideways on a long line, each block scrolls independently with copy and wrapping actions. So for example, I can remove scroll, just adding the word wrapping. The next is a streaming. That feels right. So responses after follow the button as they stream, and only div is sent to the client side. Native support for think indicator, and if some error is happening, then we show the part of the message and then a way to retry, to resend last message. So the whole point of these components is to build yourself. Conversation history, persistence, and accessibility are handled out of the box. So teams aren't rebuilding the same UI, AI chat UX from scratch. But one thing to flag clearly, this is a commercial component set, still in development, and it will ship as part of the Jmix Enterprise Edition, not the free open source framework. Okay, the last thing that, well, I want to discuss is migration nodes. If your project is already on Jmix 2.x, standard Jmix UI components and the overall project structure migrate automatically. Jmix Studio supports changing the platform version and applies the required project updates for you. We've investigated a lot of effort to making this update as smooth as possible. What doesn't migrate automatically is anything tied to a major version bump in an underlying dependency. For example, Vaadin and Spring Boot. For example, Spring Boot 4.0 sits on Spring Framework 7, which, for example, drops its own set of deprecated APIs and tightens security defaults. So some configuration work comes from that side as well. On the Vaadin side, the one to plan for is security. Vaadin Web Security class is gone in Vaadin 25. So any project extending it needs to move its security configuration over to the new Vaadin Security Configurer based setup. And because Vaadin 25 changed component styling at the structural level, custom web components and any hand integrated JavaScript components need actual rework, not just a compatibility check. Oh, well, that's probably everything I wanted to say. So I want to pass the word to Konstantin and move from the application level to the development experience, like Studio, AI tooling, dynamic model, and migration. Konstantin?
Thank you. Do we have
Back. Let me check some questions. Give me a sec. Hi, Jmix team. Are there any plans to bring back the scheduled task interface from the Cuba days? Well, it's a tough question. In Jmix, we moved to Quast jobs, and well, for now we're happy with it. But if you have any proposal, probably you can paste it on the, our forum, and we can discuss that. What features from scheduled task from Cuba you need most? The next question, does Vaadin spreadsheet support direct two-way binding with Jmix entities or collection containers similar to DataGrid? The thing is that spreadsheet works not with the entities. It works with tabular data. So you can load XLSX files. You can download them from it. So it's a workbook. It's not like grid with entities tries to mimic to spreadsheet. So the data is also different. So there is no direct two-way binding with Jmix entities. The next question, we want to load entities as rows, edit cells, and save only defined rows to the database. Direct binding is not supported. Is natural manual mapping with Apache POE the recommended approach? Well, probably yes. You can implement any binding, data binding you want, and if it fits your needs, then it's perfect for you. Is it possible with the AI conversation to generate chats and then save them for the dashboard? Well, probably, I think yes, because as you can see on my screen, I have recent chats. It's like dashboard because it's cards with my last conversation because this is data, this is saved in database, and you can use this data to generate for example, dashboard. Pin amazing feature means okay. I means could configure it to respond to questions pertaining to my application only, right? You can configure it, of course, because you can implement your own tooling and customize your to needs of your application. So whatever. Let me check if there are any other questions. In a multi-tenant environment, how does Jmix secure that AI only shares information that are available for specific user with roles rights for it? Tools that we are already providing to work with the data, like fetching data and so on, works with our data manager. So any security applied to data manager, applied to the AI chat, to the AI tools add-on. And probably that's it. I don't see any other questions. So now I think I'm ready to pass the word to Konstantin.
I'll start with improvements in Studio. And the first feature on my list is the automatic installation of AI agent tools, not the add-on that Gleb told us about, but it's different thing that helps you develop these agents in your Jmix application, your Jmix project. So this action starts a wizard, and in the first step, we install agent skills. Here we can select where to install skills, to the current project or to globally to the user home, and select the target agent, Claude in my case. And when I run the script, Studio actually runs the script that downloads content from our GitHub repository and installs this skill. In the next step, it creates Claude MD or agents MD file depending on your agent. So again, I just run the script and go to the next step. And here it configures JetBrains MCP server. I already have this configuration, so I can skip any of these steps. The same for context 7 MCP. Here we need to provide our API key. And in the last step, it configures Playwright CLI for UI testing. Again, I will just skip it. And finally, we have these skills in our project and the Claude MD instructions. So Jmix skills are especially useful when working with relatively weak open source LLMs. At the same time, JetBrains and Context 7 MCPs, as well as Playwright, are highly recommended for using also with any powerful state-of-the-art model. The next feature is about database updates. Here in the data store properties dialog, you can use this new option to not generate drop statements for unmapped tables. This is helpful when your database is used also by other applications, and so you don't need to explicitly exclude some tables in the application property. But keep in mind that with this option, Studio will not drop the table if you remove its entity from the data model. Now about a few quality of life improvements. If your project includes the search add-on, you can see this now. You can now see the search definitions here in the Jmix tree, and you can quickly create them using this action, new search index definition. The same is for Quartz jobs. You can see them in the tree, and you can create them using a dedicated, this dedicated action. Also, there are good news for those who prefer to work with the standard project tree. You now don't have to switch to Jmix tool window for important Jmix sections. Here in the new action, you can create any Jmix object, and the root node now contains the project properties, data store actions, and Jmix marketplace. Also, if you like Kotlin and you want your build scripts in Kotlin DSL, you can convert them manually or with the help of AI. And Studio will read and update Kotlin script the same as it does with Groovy-based scripts. Okay, now let's turn to the framework features. And the first one that I want to show you is called runtime view templates. Let's take a look at this entity step. It now doesn't have any views in the source code. I just removed them. So here you see no views. Instead, I've added a couple of annotations to the entity class, a list view template and detail view template. And with these annotations, the framework generates views for the entity at runtime. So if we go to the running application, we can see this step list and step detail views. The views are generated by templates. And the framework provides default templates. For example, this is a default list view templates written in FreeMarker. Of course, you can provide your own templates in your project and just specify it here in the annotation. By the way, the default detail view template can display collection of composition collections, so collection attributes that are composition. For example, in this entity, I have the reminders attribute, which is a collection of step reminder entity. And in my detail view, we can see the reminders are shown on a separate tab. If the entity has no collection, then tab sheet is not shown at all. You will see just a single form. So, in general, this feature lets you reduce the amount of repetitive code for the UI of simple entities. Some projects contain dozens or even hundreds of entities that don't need any custom UI. And now the views can be just generated by the framework on the fly. And now about another big new feature, dynamic model add-on. Instead of describing it, let me first show it in action. This application contains a few entities, including user and department. And I'm going to use the dynamic model to extend this application at runtime with the information about cities, offices, and meeting rooms. And I will create a link between department and this new office entity. So let's open the dynamic model settings. And first I will create the city entity. It will have name attribute, string, required, unique instance name, and country. Attribute, also string. And I will define views for this entity. List view it will be generated by default template and shown in the menu here under application item, and the detail view also generated by the standard template. Okay, I click apply, and the application shows what is changed, what will be changed in the dynamic model. So I confirm the changes, and if I refresh the page, we will see the city list view, and we can create city entity. London. Let's create a couple of instances. And now let's create the office entity. Office will have name, string, required instance name, address, also string, but non-default length, capacity, integer, and city, the reference to our new dynamic city entity. Oh, sorry. Entity, city. Now I will create the meeting room entity with name attribute and seats integer. And I will add the collection of meeting rooms to the office. It will be a meeting rooms attribute entity of type meeting room collection. Okay, and we need views for these new entities. For the office, I will define the list view shown in menu and detail view. And for the meeting room, I will define just a detail view because I don't need a list view. The list of meeting rooms will be inside the office detail view. Yeah, probably that's it. This is what will be changed in the model. I will apply it, refresh the page to see the new menu item office list. And let's create an office. Capacity, the link to city. And here we can create some rooms. Yeah, everything is fine except this caption. Yeah, let's fix it. I will go to the office and define the localized name for this property, this attribute, meeting rooms. So yeah, now only this message will be changed, and now we can see the decent name for this, decent caption for this tab. And the last task is to create a reference to office from our department entity. I will find the department is a static entity in our project. I will find it here in the dropdown, and I will add a dynamic attribute to it. Office entity office. And now is the interesting part. We need to extend the existing static views of department entity to add the new dynamic attribute to them. So here in the views tab, I will find first the existing department list view, and for the descriptor, I can just generate the extension. So the framework can do it automatically. It will find the original view descriptor and make an extension for it. So it adds a column for office attribute and fetch plan property to load it eagerly. The same for the detail view. I will just generate the extension automatically, and it will contain this new entity picker for the office property, and again the fetch plan property. Yeah, apply, and let's see what we have in departments now. Yeah, now we have the office column, and we can select an office in an entity picker for this department. So it looks like the task is completed. And now let's take a look at how the dynamic entities and attributes are stored in the database. This is the original database schema. I will refresh it. And we see now a few tables with DIN prefix. So they were created automatically on the fly. DIN city stores our cities. DIN office is storage for office with the link to the city by its identifier. DIN meeting room stores meeting rooms with the link to owning entity, owner of the collection. And this DIN department table stores all dynamic attributes of the department entity. And records in this table have identifiers equal to the IDs of static department records. So to load all attributes of an entity, the framework adds a single join between the static and dynamic tables. So in this case, it will be a join between department and DIN department. As you can see, all dynamic model entities and attributes are stored in the database in the plain relational structure. It's easy to query and it provides the best performance. Dynamic model also lets you define enumerations, attribute validation rules here, and resource roles for entity, for entity attributes, and for views. So the access control is basically the same as for static entities and UI. The whole model is stored in a single YAML document, so you can easily copy-paste it between application instances. And now a few words about the current status of this add-on. It's a commercial add-on and it requires an enterprise or BPM subscription. Currently, it's in the experimental state and we don't recommend using it in production yet. In the next Jmix release 3.1, we are going to make it production ready and add some important features. You will be able to customize behavior in dynamic UI and generate the model definition in AI chat. Also, you may ask what will happen with the old dynamic attributes add-on. We are not going to deprecate it because it is simpler and it is free to use. But keep in mind that it stores data in the entity attribute value structure, which becomes slow when the amount of data grows, and it's very limited in UI customization. So the dynamic model is a new approach to the same problem, but with much more flexibility and power. And before I pass the microphone back to Viktor, a quick note about upgrading to Jmix 3.0. Gleb already mentioned it, but I'd like to repeat that Jmix API stays 99% compatible with version 2.8. There are a few breaking changes, but they're easy to fix. And they may even not affect your project at all, depending on the functionality you actually use. And Studio takes care of many incompatibilities and fixes them automatically. So if your project is in active development, we highly recommend upgrading to the new version. You will get a longer period of free bug fixes and security updates. And obviously, Jmix 3 is a starting point for all the new features in the framework and add-ons. So that's all from our side, from my side. Yeah.
So please, can you switch once again my screen? And we are back to the main presentation. Thank you for being with us today with our great Jmix 3.0 release webinar. And here our next question, a small survey. The question is about your existing Jmix 1.x applications. This can be 1.4, 1.5, 1.7 LTS version, so it doesn't matter really. So it's great to know whether you're going or planning to migrate your existing Jmix applications in future. The reason we are asking about it is that we want to plan the capacity of the team resources needed for supporting the Jmix 1.7 LTS version of Jmix. Yeah, and it would be great to know whether you plan to migrate soonest or you do not want to migrate because because your existing product is coming to the end of life. So I asked my colleagues to launch the survey in the chat, and we proceed. So actually, we passed 2 sections. Thanks to Gleb, thanks to Konstantin about UI framework and Studio and this new great feature dynamic model. There were a lot of things discussed, yeah, and I want to make some heli view on what we are doing right now in the direction of the AI system development and talk a bit about plans. Yeah, and for sure, we'll answer all the questions just right after the 3rd section. We have a dedicated Q&A section, and if some questions will be without answers, we will just read them publicly loud and try to answer them. Okay. For those of you who are new to the term which we are promoting with Jmix, it's the term AI system development. We are speaking about we are thinking about the following. We detect that the environment, especially the development and the modern development environment, it changes significantly. In the past, the developer should just configure the environment, configure the IDE, configure the framework, and start programming and developing a solution. Yeah, so that was enough in the past. But now things happen that way that soon we don't even know whether developers should use IDs in daily operations and for all projects. Maybe it's for some projects there will be just enough using some CLI agents, and that's all. That's what Anthropic is demonstrating right now. So we do not make any firm forecast in this area. We're just tracking what's going on, but we reflect the changes that are happening in the market, and we reflect the changes happening in the development environment, and we see that modern development environment can be split into 3 layers. which modern developers need to handle while developing the software. And for sure, the same as development software with Java. Those are 3 layers of application context. So everything the AI agent is working with, to understand your tasks, your prompts, and to generate the right code in a code in relation to your intention. The agentic layer, it appears as a mandatory thing right now in modern development, and we use agents for writing specifications, for writing code, or we use agents, programmed agents inside our runtime applications. And the lowest, or let's say the foundational layer right now is the layer for large language models, or LLMs, in short. The first thing we state as the Jmix team is that we want to keep maximum interoperability with everything you can have access to proprietary models or our own agents, because the speed of development, the pace of development of those instruments are so fast that we even detect by ourselves that we can switch from one instrument to another instrument just in several weeks, because something more modern, something more powerful appeared in the market. So here we state that we are not going to deliver anything in those places marked on this slide as coding agents or frontier models or open source, open weight models. So we want to make you the most comfortable operations, to bring you the most comfortable operations with the models you've got used to operate in your daily operations, and to enrich them with things that Jmix can make better, where it can bring the real value. And what are these areas, actually? The first area is the area of specification. And the tool we are bringing inside the Jmix ecosystem is the Jmix AI Assistant, you may know as the special web and IDE-based client tool, which you can access from our website or from our Jmix Studio plugin inside the IntelliJ IDE. And this is a RAG-based agent which works with the documentation, UI samples, training resources, and we put a lot of knowledge about best practices and coding guidelines of how to generate, how to make great software with Jmix, and it definitely helps right now to write clear and short specifications that you can use for further development steps. So we assume Jmix as the AI assistant as the best tool for 2 purposes. The first purpose is the fastest way to onboard new human developers into the development life cycle, and the second target is to write specifications. So we do not claim seriously right now that this is a part of spec-driven development, because this thing is much more complex, but this Jmix AI Assistant tool can definitely help you to generate the right specification for bootstrapping your project with the code agent you've got used to. The second aspect where we put effort on is the development phase, and here we want to enrich your existing coding agent with everything that is obligatory for its proper operations. And first of all, we serve Jmix skills. Today, Konstantin demonstrated the AI Studio AI toolkit, which allows to install all the needed skills to your existing coding agent automatically. And this is a very valuable thing because you do not need to think of migrating these skills to the updated versions of the Jmix framework. You don't need to think of whether they were tested or not, because for sure, everything what is served from the Jmix team has 100% quality test. So it's a good engineering thing that you can just integrate inside your project or update by cloning the existing GitHub repository where we store those skills. So this part is managed by Jmix team and it's free. So so it can be easily combined with your existing coding agent and make it run better with less iterations. And for sure, we give a lot of things in the application context layer. The framework itself gives a lot about the structure of the Jmix applications. It gives the Maven archetypes of packages. It declares how you should define entities, how you should define the data layer, and all moving parts inside the framework is defined by things that are generated from the empty project, just from the very beginning. And to develop your project in the short, using the minimum iterations and bringing less errors, we provide you with a connection of the studio with the AI agent via IDE MCP. So its name is JetBrains MCP server. This is how we recommend to use Jmix right now. Together with the AI agents, we recommend it to connect via the JetBrains MCP server to the studio. Why it is so important? It is important because by default, no language servers can detect errors that you can make inside things like view descriptors, for example. If you just made a mistake inside the commas and wrote the name of the attribute in the wrong way. But the studio, together with its formal checks, will detect this error, deliver this error to the IDE, and IDE will deliver this to your AI agent, and he will be able to detect this error without any additional manipulations. And together with the Context 7 tool, which is also maintained by Jmix team, there you can find the up-to-date Jmix documentation. It makes the perfect combination of tools which empowers your coding agent to move in the right direction with minimum broken iterations. What effects can you reach using this approach? This approach it helps you to work successfully even with weak with weak open weight models or open source models, and this also concerns the open source AI agents. So even with things that can be run that can run locally, can demonstrate good output using this setup provided by Jmix in combination with your AI infrastructure, which includes the coding agent and the LLM. And finally, the great thing that which we are working on right now, and we'll develop it further, it's the runtime of your applications. We know perfectly that for product teams, it's very important right now to deliver the AI tools not only for developers, but also for business people, for business analysts, for power users, to make them available, to make them able to configure or to customize the software according to their needs, to make it as more adaptive as you can without extra effort. Nobody wants to wait right now. They want just to prompt what they want and to get a secured solution of their new featured enterprise application. And we honestly understand this, and we invest a lot of effort right now in moving our development features inside the runtime, but making this in a secure way, because we understand that Jmix tools, Jmix applications are working in enterprise infrastructure, and the security and governance and compliance is the #1 aspect with which we need to secure for all our development community. And that is why the Jmix AI tool, which as an add-on, which was demonstrated today by Gleb, it works with all the data requests which users input in the message input UI component. They are passed through the data manager, and all the data retrieval operations are going under the Jmix framework governance and its security subsystem. And this is what goes out of the box. So you do not need to reinvent this. You just connect this to your application and it's done. And to make it, let's say, less less difficult for you to adopt this great feature, we made it for free. So Jmix AI tools, in combination with the data retrieval tool, which works through the text prompting, it's a free feature that you can use right now after the end of this webinar. You can download it and attach it to your application. And so summarizing all the all the strategy of the Jmix product, I want to say that we are putting a lot into bringing the great application context layer to all the AI agentic tools you've got used to. And we want to make this working inside your even isolated environments and with LLMs and AI agents you prefer to implement in your daily operations. And one more aspect I want to cover in the last section is that together with this adaptive runtime, with the dynamic model, which Konstantin demonstrated today, we started to cover the last mile of delivering the enterprise software. It's the integration. So the integration or adopting the software inside the enterprise ecosystem, inside the enterprise landscape. And the next step, what we are going to deliver in Jmix 3.1 in experimental mode is the feature which we highlighted in the beginning of this year. This is the text UI feature that will work on top of the data of the dynamic model add-on and will allow to design the data structure and the UI based on the dynamic model defined by the user in runtime without getting an access to the development mode. So what does it bring to you as a developer, as development teams? This brings you a capability to get a software product that can be highly customized by integrators, by system integrators, or by adopted or by the business analysts, while they are adopting the software according to the business needs. And we foresee that this will shorten the cycles of adjusting the software according to the needs of the real business needs. And this will reduce the whole cycle of delivering the software in the enterprise landscape. So this is the area which we are working on, but it's not the only one. These are the whole plans for the Jmix 3.1 release. In advance, I want to say that you can find the detailed list of these issues inside the GitHub repository. We have projects, and there you can find the roadmap for the next release, and all these features are mentioned there. But just in short, to sum up everything we discussed today and new things that maybe not announced today. We are going to deliver the advanced AI chat component. Gleb today announced it a bit. This will be a dedicated AI component which will have an advanced UI layout and better flexibility to connect your own tools to it. The next thing is the production-ready dynamic model. Today, the dynamic model, which was demonstrated by Konstantin, it was rolled out as the experimental mode. So things can differ finally there inside based on your experience also. So we strongly we want you to test this tool and give us a feedback about how it runs and what problems can it have to make it the best in this market. Then we are going to deliver the text to model and text to UI features as the part of the dynamic model, or let's say as a complementary things to the dynamic model that will allow to transform the prompts into the dynamic model and to the views. And this would be done by and the users will be able to do that in your application runtime. The next great thing which we are planning to deliver is the text to report builder tool. We plan to make it as a separate tool which will be a part of the AI tools add-on, and it will allow to define and configure the report without visual tooling. Yeah, so just by talking with the agent inside the Jmix application, the user or the developer will be able to configure a new instance of the report and run it. Yeah, so that's what we plan to deliver in Jmix 3.1. And we also want to make better BPM integration or internal integrations for the BPM add-on with other add-ons. Still, we have a missing integration of the notifications add-on, and some minor features will be brought to this area of the BPM functionalities. And for sure, we'll continue improvements inside the studio to help AI agents to deliver better code in less iterations, even if you are using open source LLMs. And here I have the last question for our today's survey. The question is, how does your team manage core framework updates and security risks? It's very interesting for us to know how often do you update the core technologies of your projects or products, and whether do you plan to make updates soonest this year or maybe the next year. So this will be a very useful piece of information from you, and we'll be very glad if you will share these insights from your team with us. So we are switching to the questions and answer section, and I want to ask the host, please, can you switch off the screen share, and we will read the questions left in the chat. Let's go through the topics which may have no answers yet. Yeah, I will just read things that have no answers yet. Okay. Right now, the question from El Bashir about the dynamic model was covered already, and about how they are stored in the database. This was demonstrated. The next question from El Bashir, I see the about generating, for the new annotations about generating the views by the framework. Are the view generated at compile time, performance, or at runtime? What about performance? I think this is the question to Konstantin. Do you have an answer for that, Konstantin?
Yes, I have an answer. The dynamically generated views are created by the framework at startup time. So when the application is starting, it renders all the views and stores them in its internal repository in memory. So there is no performance impact on opening the views.
Okay, thank you very much for answering the question. I hope this is a good answer for you, El Bashir. So the next question from El Bashir: Can you explain a little bit the tab code top left in the dynamic model settings UI? So there was a selector there.
Yeah, it's a text representation in YAML format, text representation of the dynamic model configuration. So this text is stored in the database actually, and it is handled on the application startup to create all dynamic objects in the database and in memory if they are not present. Yeah, you can even edit it manually, and it will reflect the UI representation of the dynamic model, all these tables with entities and attributes. So it's similar to how you develop your application in design time in Studio. You can write your entity code in the code editor, or you can use our entity designer. Almost the same.
Thank you very much, Konstantin, for your answer. I see that based on the poll we've launched, Felix says that I don't have Jmix 1.x applications. This is great to hear. So I think that Felix has all the applications updated. And I see the last question from Danar. In version 2.8.2, I have connected the OpenAI account using username and password. AI chat, but in Jmix 3.0, I haven't found the connection model or to do, but only the API key mode. Is it a removed feature? Konstantin or Gleb, who can answer on that? So I suppose this is about the configuration of the Spring AI, basically, because it is covered by this.
Yes,
by
I
this tool.
cannot actually say anything certainly about this connection mode, but we don't provide the connection in Jmix. We completely rely on Spring AI for this. So this is true in the Jmix 2.8. We used Spring AI 1, and in Jmix 3 we have to use Spring AI 2. Yes, the different major version, maybe some different configuration probably.
Yeah, so this most probably relates to the Spring AI update, not to the update of the Jmix itself. Yeah, so this is because we rely on this technology hardly. Okay, so and I see the suggestion from El Bashir. So he asks, can you make a tool, a CLI tool that can validate a Jmix project and output errors? This can be used with coding agents without opening IDE. So this is a great question, El Bashir. Yeah, so we think a lot about it, but it's very, as I've mentioned already, it's very hard to make forecasts, really. Yeah, so we want to support tools our community is working with right now, and we see still that, especially in enterprise landscape, IDEs are very popular. So still, yeah. So and we love JetBrains. This is the second aspect. So still we are in JetBrains, and we use JetBrains MCP server. It works perfectly with Jmix Studio, and it looks like still that's enough. In future, we'll see. Maybe CLI agents will struggle and conquer all the landscape. Yeah, so they will win, and we will need to think of our dedicated CLI tool. But now we want to support the one which you are using actually. Thank you everyone for your questions. I don't see any more questions, and I want to ask the host to share my screen, because we are coming to the last to the last part of our today's webinar. It's about the giveaway. Yeah, so we promised to give you 3 Claude Pro 3-month subscriptions, and today we want to know the names of those lucky girls or boys. Yeah, so what we've made, actually, we've put all the registrations for this Wheel of Names service, and here you can see the names. The surnames are missing due to the privacy issues, but maybe you can detect who you are, and I will just roll the wheel 3 times and we'll know the name of the winners. So let's do it the first time, and we'll find the lucky person right now, and this person is Ishmael. Ishmael, my congratulations. So we found the first winner of our today's giveaway. So let's go further and know the name of the second winner. By the way, while the wheel is rolling around, you can put thumbs up behind this video. Jan, my congratulations. You are also the winner for the Claude subscription. Okay, yeah, so and now we'll get the last one, the last person who is the lucky today, and most probably he's watching or she's watching our webinar today also, and this is Brian. Brian, yeah, so we've got 3 winners in our today's giveaway. My congratulations to those great 3 developers, Ishmael, Jan, and Brian S. And soon after the end of this webinar, my team will connect with you and deliver the gifts. Yeah, so I think that this will be a great enabler in your daily development operations. And we are finalizing our today's webinar with key takeaways. Today we introduced the Jmix 3.0 and new technology baseline with all the technology updates inside, which I've mentioned today in the beginning. So it's new Vaadin, it's new Spring Boot, it's new Eclipse Link, it's new Flowable. So go and test. So we want to hear your feedback about this great new release. So we've talked today about the amount of effort you need to migrate from Jmix 2.x to the updated version, and we've told you already that it's much more easier than it was, for example, with Jmix 1.x to Jmix 2.x, and most probably you will even test this in your projects, and you can also give us the feedback whether it works or not. Yeah, and we uncovered today the Jmix 3.0 enterprise new features that bring you next generation of enterprise productivity tools together with the AI tools, and highlighted a bit the updated strategy for the product about AI-assisted development and better application runtime flexibility as the future of Jmix. So this is basically all for today, my friends, and this was great to spend time with you. Please don't forget to send us more hearts, more pluses if you like this webinar, and don't forget to press likes if you really like this webinar. Don't forget to subscribe on our channel, and see you next time on our next series. Thank you very much, and see you. Bye-bye.